August 13th, 2025 meeting of the Delaware County Drainage Board. Mr. Whitehead is not with us today, so I will be running the meeting. Please join me, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead, Mr. Hamilton,
Here.
Ms. Reagan,
Present.
Mr. Christie,
Present.
Mr. Buckle,
Here.
Mr. Wright.
Here.
Mr. Borchers.
Here. Thank you. The July 9th, 2025 minutes were not sent out. I don't think anyone has had a chance to review those. Could I have a motion to table that if we wish to table approval of those minutes? So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead, Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes. Now is the time for public comment. If you would like to speak, please approach the podium, state your name and address.
I've got some pictures.
Could you please state your name and address?
Cody Light, 9800 North County Road, 525 West, Gaston.
Thank you.
I've got some pictures that I want to be part of the record. Do I need to give those to Mr. Borchers or?
You can give those to Jennifer.
Okay. Is that better? Sorry. So I'm Cody Light. I have the Rector drain running through my property. I've had issues with it since I've moved there. I moved to my place in 22. The county has done, the first year I moved there, they repaired a major blowout, and there's a picture of that dated, June 1st, 22. That's a pretty large blowout they fixed. The second year I was there in 23, Brad Butler came out and I had another blowout, which the surveyor, I had told them at that time it was back in a real bad thicket. And they had I had notified them that when this blowout happened, and they never had went through and fixed that. The next year I got that cleared out to where they could get back in there. They fixed that blowout, and then they had refixed this blowout. And then I had another blowout down by the Killbuck Creek. There's a paper that shows kind of where the blowouts have been through me. They replaced that blowout. I'm still having trouble with that county drain. Whenever we get, more happens in the spring. I flood out back in my back. There's pictures of that. They're not real great pictures. When Butler was out there, I think it was 2 years ago, through where that woods was, there's like 200 feet of plastic tile that's been put in there. He probed around out there and said that tile looks like it's running uphill, what they had put in. The story that I was told, that plastic tile that was put through that woods was put through with a guy, his wife, and a backhoe. I don't know if they used a transit or not. But like I said, every time we keep getting rain, I keep flooding out back there and I can't use my property. There's like 4 acres back there that I'm farming. It was all disced and seeded to beans around Memorial Weekend. The next week we got several big rains in a row and all that was completely underwater and it was flooded out. Last week I looked at that tile. That tile's been running. I believe it's an 18-inch clay tile that runs up at Greg Cox's greenhouses. I don't remember the road number up there, clear down, and it dumps out in the Killbuck. But I'm having constant trouble with that drain when we get, especially in the spring. We keep getting multiple heavy rains, and the water just runs through Greg Cox's woods. I looked at that tile last week, and it was still running. It was probably about half full or so. And when I went away for the weekend and I came back, it looked like it had quit running finally. I want to be able to use my ground back there. And I understand the topography of that ground back there. Some of that water comes naturally because of the lay of the land. But I've been in contact with the drainage office since probably May about this. And I've talked with Stan, and he keeps saying he'll come out and look at it. The perfect time when it came to look at it was in about the 1st of June, when the water was running across the surface. And when it does that, it does it for 3 or 4 days. And that's not surface water running for 3 or 4 days. The tile running through Greg Cox's woods is completely growed up. A jungle would be an understatement. There's a breather pipe back there on him. There's one on me that I'm able to see down in. And there's a breather pipe on Greg's right at the property line, and it's noted on this map. There's trees all knocked down around it. When I walked back and took these pictures on, I think it was the 8th of June, the water was running through that woods. There's some spots where the ground's depressed. And it looked like the water in that breather pipe was standing still. I know that there's people north of me having trouble with it not draining, and I want to get the tile fixed, but my biggest thing is why is it the surveyor's office? I called them the first part of June, talked to Stan, he said, I'll be out the next few days. He didn't come out. I called him the next week, said, when are you coming out to look at that? I'll be out. I said, well, we've got weed out. I've got weed out there. I said, I will take you out there and show you the blowout. I said, you can't drive back there because there's wheat and beans planted. I said, and it's muddy. There's water running. So I will gladly take off from work, take you out there, show you what's going on so we can get it fixed. Nothing. We took the weed off in July. It was... And I have this wrote down. I started documenting it. On July the 9th, I talked to Stan. I said, he goes, I'll come out. I said, I will gladly mark. There's 2 spots out in the field where it's depressed. I don't know if that's one of those spots is where they've fixed the tile and refixed the tile the year later. I don't know if that's settled. We had it all leveled up really good, or if it's not working right. On the 10th, I watched. Nobody ever came out the next day like said would. And it was dry enough, and there's only one way to get back there, that I could see if there was tire prints. Nobody has come back there, to my knowledge, still, to look at that. The other kind of complaint I have is, why is it I can't just take off of work to go up to the drainage office? Why is it when I call into the surveyor's office, there's been a time, I don't remember when it was, it's like I said, I've lived here for 3 years now. So sometime within the 3 years, I called up to the surveyor's office, the secretary answers, I tell her what's going on, and I don't know if it was a surveyor or one of the other employees that goes out. She tells them the message, and then I can hear them on the message telling the message. Then she relays back what they say. Well, in the process, what I said got lost. To me, that's unacceptable. Why can't you pick up the phone? Or why can't you, when you call in and ask to talk to the surveyor or somebody, why can't they call you back? So I don't know when you guys can get out there. I mean, the problem is you can go out and you can see the depressions, but it's all clay tile, what's going through north of me, or most of it is, and you're going to have to run a scope through it to even see anything. What is the process to get that done, and what is the process for the county to follow back up with people on this?
Thank you. Mr. Surveyor, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I was out there shortly after you took off the wheat.
Okay.
I because I didn't think there's no real reason for us to send a contractor out there to fix it when you have the weed out there. Just
Yes.
wait till you get the weed off,
Yes.
because it's only gonna be a couple weeks. So it wasn't, soon after you took the weed off, I went out there and I saw the flags. I saw the two, one of them was real small indention. I don't know if it was a sinkhole or not. The one to the north definitely was, right there by the grass.
Yeah.
The one to the south, it just looked like there was where we fixed it in the past and it was just clay
Yeah.
tile there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was, but I talked to the contractor, he's got it. I said, listen, make sure when you go back up in that woods, that we shoot that, because he remembered it from last year.
Yeah.
So he's got if he's not out there this week, he's probably gonna be out there at the beginning of the week, he's got it, it's right on his list.
Okay.
We talked to him about it, he knows about it, and he knows the situation. And that tile's been a problem, we've done a lot of work where it crosses underneath the rails of trail. Because
Okay.
all those things no one's maintaining the culverts underneath the rails of the trail, because there's no one to do it. So if it falls off my right of way, I can't go in there and fix it. But if you ask Mr. Cox, we did a lot of work and drained a lot of that woods on the opposite side of his pond 3 or 4 years ago. It's all coming through you. There's a lot of water.
Yeah.
And especially if you look right there at McComb Road where it takes that turn,
Yeah.
that used to be all the way up to the road. We did a lot of work to try to get that flowing through you. So you've got so much water from Mr. Cox's pond, through all that woods, through the rails of trails, through that swampy area around Macomb, all that runs through you,
Yeah.
through a 120-year-old tile.
Yeah.
So we opened a bunch up 3 or 4 years ago, and as you open up an old tile, as it starts running through, finally, it's going to break down, especially where it gets to you right at the daylight. So I talked to Butler, he's gonna put some extra plastic in there, he's gonna reshoot it up there where you cleared that out. It was
Okay.
hard to tell.
Yeah. And I understood that.
So,
when you
and I
guys,
apologize, I didn't call you back, we went out and looked at
Okay.
it, I gave it to him, I thought he'd be up there, I thought he'd
Okay.
be there by now. As you know, this isn't the best year to do tile work. So, I've been out there, I've looked at it, now that did you put beans back in over the wheat?
So I've got teff grass,
Okay.
that we'll be cutting for hay, but if he's kind of stays along the beans, I mean, as long as he's not driving a million trails out through there,
No, he'll just,
I want it fixed, so.
yeah, he'll just have
Yeah.
he'll just
Yeah.
have as many,
Yeah.
typically.
Yeah.
And then if, like I said, I thought he'd be out there by now, but
Okay.
he's had some other issues come up, so, like I said, I've been out there, and I apologize
Okay.
for the communication problem, but I just thought you'd see me out there, because I had to go up around where you're selling the
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and go up around north of your barn to get
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
I figured someone would be there, because
Yeah.
seems like there is every time I've been out there.
Yeah.
so.
No, I work,
Okay.
so.
No
But
worries.
there's problems between, like I said, through Greg Cox's woods right there back to the lake. And
Right.
I had also was told that when they dug that long lake back there, that tile was rerouted along the property line.
Yeah, and like I said, it's been probably longer than 4 years now.
Yeah.
We did a lot of work on that to get that opened up, because like I said, there at McComb Road, that's
Yeah.
the tile that runs through you.
Yeah.
That's a swamp there.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is we had to do a lot of permits with the DNR, because that's all wetlands through there now. Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's on top of a county
Yeah.
tile, but it is
Yeah.
now. So what we really want to do is we want to get that fixed at the daylight where you're at, in the
Yeah.
outlet.
Yeah.
And then we can work back towards that and get those permits filed. And the best time to do that is in the fall when there's no foliage out there, and we can actually see where that tile goes
Yeah.
through all that woods. But like I said, he's gonna get the transit, put it on there, and make sure everything's running through you first before we
Yeah.
even go uphill.
Well, and the other thing is if it kind of goes back to communication, I would be open to putting, like, if you got to do some major, if you can't get it done this year, I would potentially be open to putting wheat back out there next year.
I don't see any problem. I don't see
Okay.
any issue why we would.
Okay.
The worst thing that's gonna happen is that it's gonna
Yeah.
settle.
Yeah.
And if you plow it
Yeah.
off too, there's gonna be an indention there, but
Now
that's the
there
worst thing problem.
there is where that woods is cleared out. There is a few beans through there, but
Okay.
if you got to go through them,
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Just some of the
Yeah.
old equipment and stuff
Yeah.
was kind of moving
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. There is a few beans there, but you're not gonna not. Like I said, I want to get it fixed. It
Okay.
was some of that through there where the beans are planted is where
Okay.
they've replaced it with plastic. But
Yeah, I know there's some plastic, and I kind of talked to him about
throwing in a little bit more there just to see
Yeah.
see if we can get that sturdied up as much water as that pushes.
Yeah, well, and like I said, through Greg's Woods, from there to where that breather is, through that, there's a lot of water. It'll run for 3 or 4 days, and I kind of think you need to run a scope through that, and because that's all old clay through there, and there's probably a good chance there's tree roots. And I question if it's broke down back out in the field again, because like I said, it ran for like a month.
Usually Greg's pretty good at getting a hold of me, but that doesn't mean it's
Yeah,
not.
well, he don't do anything
Well,
with that
'cause I
woods.
can't remember the guy's name. Calls me from him, but yep.
But-
So he knows, and like I said, I'll relay that you've got tough grass in
Okay.
there, and we'll go from there.
One thing I would like to see, I guess while I'm here, is I'd like to see on the website, the surveyor's website, I mean, we live in kind of a digital age. Maybe talking with your web developer for the county's website, and then have a spot on the website where it can be, where you can put in like a submission for a log jam or
Like a good
tile
point.
blowouts, creeks and that, because sometimes it is hard to get a hold of the surveyor, and that also gives a digital trail of that, and then that report could be given back to the drainage board.
Sure, I'll talk to Kyle with GIS. He does a lot of our stuff.
Okay.
We've kind of did a lot of more stuff on the web this year, and
Okay.
that seems like something that could be very easily put on there.
Okay.
Because we already have the forms digital.
Yep.
So he would just have to link it to it
Yep.
and go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Have a good day,
Thank you.
Mr. Light.
Any other public comments?
My name's Don Chambers. I live at 215 East Bosman Street in Eaton, Indiana. I'm basically complaining about some issues where a neighbor I spoke to Stan yesterday, and I understand where it could be a civil matter, but I still want to bring it up here to see if you guys do anything different. But the neighbors on Romey Street, they turned around and brought in truckloads of dirt and caused a natural waterway to back up into the neighbor's woods, which causes problems into my property also. I've got pictures if you guys want to see them or whatever, so, but it's killed off a lot of property, a lot of trees. And there is a ditch line that the county has. It was cleared out probably, I don't know, before you was here, the last person was here, had it dredged out, but it needs redone again, so, because trees are all down in it and everything, but that natural waterway goes into a ditch line, which goes to the river and also goes to the ditch line. So it's backing up onto their property and causing issues with me and my mother-in-law's property, so I don't know if there's anything we can do or anything like that, if you guys want these pictures or not.
Mr. Surveyor, are you familiar with this issue?
This is the first I've heard of it.
Okay.
Is this close to Rock 10?
Yes. Yes, the little area called Strawtown
Romey's the street kind of right there in front of.
runs right in front of it.
Rock 10.
But what, I think it
Railroad
stops,
comes through there.
yeah, the Romey Street stops, I think right in front of Rock 10, then it goes into 150 East. Basically, they're on 150 East right there. And me and the neighbors tried, talking to them about it. We've even offered to pay to even put a ditch, some tile or something in through there. They refuse that. They're not wanting to do any discussions on anything, so I just didn't know if you guys could do anything about it. I know it could possibly be a civil matter, I understand that, but I just still want to bring it up to your guys' attention, so.
Mr. Surveyor, could you look into this before the next
Yeah,
meeting?
stop down, give me your address. Like I said, this is the first I've heard of it, so
Okay.
it's hard for me to.
Just
Comment
let me know
on
when
it.
you come- I know,
When you work in the building, just come on down and
yeah,
give me your address, bring the pictures, and we'll write up a complaint.
okay.
It's pretty
I'll just,
easy.
let me know when you want to go out there and look at it, and I'll schedule a time to where I can be there with you.
We're just give me the information too, and if I'm out
Okay.
that way.
All right, thanks.
Yep,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Hello, Shannon Henry, County Commissioner. I received a complaint last week in reference to the Leaper ditch, I believe. And this complainant it's actually Dale Buffin. He lives at 1101 South County Road, 625 East. in Selma. He's saying that, it looks like just by Beacon that, his property is quite a ways from that ditch. I don't, maybe you're familiar with it,
I'm not off the top of my
Tommy.
head. You said the address was?
It's 1101 South County Road 625 East. But he, apparently the ditch must be flooding and he's got a lot of water problems. It's starting to damage his back garage. Some of his neighbors south of him's also starting to have damage to their property. And he's also stating that there's possibly apparently some ground sold south of him, and there's possibly they may have filled some of that ditch in.
Is this, what's the other guy's name? Down the long lane, the Butler was just probing. Is that six, right, yeah, is it right?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
another
So
neighbor.
the contractor was out there earlier this week, cause someone built a brand new house, cleared out of woods, got a truck stuck and all that stuff, so he went and probed, cause it's a tile and there's no other access to it besides, what's his name? Mr. Fanning's house.
Okay,
From there all the way till it goes across Pittenger Road into the open ditch. So the contractor went out there, I believe Monday and probed and put flags where that tile where he found it.
okay,
Then he called and locates because there's a bunch of stuff going down that road. So
Okay.
once those locates come in, which should probably be today or tomorrow, then he can go out there and start digging and finding where the issue is. Because I know we fixed it a few years ago, and Mr. Fanning said that he didn't think we needed to dig it up. So we left it, we just jet rotted it there through that area. But once they started building that house and pulling out all those trees and stuff where it ran through that woods, I believe they broke it. They also put up some fence, some other stuff. So we found it. It's in the process of getting taken care of.
okay. That is it 1351 South County Road 625 East? Is that where the problem is? Well, just write this address down. 1351 South County Road 625 East. That's where apparently some property changed hands and they're stating this person may have filled something in or,
Yeah, they ripped out a bunch of trees.
okay,
There's a bunch of mud and stuff back in there.
okay, all right.
It was kind of hard to even go back in there and
Yeah,
look.
if you please just check into
I
that
will.
for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Board. Stephen Brandel, our County Commissioner. In your last meeting, some folks got up and spoke about the Stockport Drive and that there's a structure there that goes over one of our ditches. I just wanted to provide you with a quick update. In that meeting, those folks said they were going to go to the City Council, and I attended the City Council. They did not attend. However, the commissioners have decided to go ahead and send a follow-up letter to those folks. We sent them one letter already saying, hey, if you'll sign this, we'll do it, and you guys are going to take responsibility for it going forward. And they refused to sign those letters. So we're going to send them a letter that says we are going to do the work and you are still responsible for it going forward. So I just wanted to provide that update and see if you had any questions.
Will you provide us with a copy of that letter?
Yes, we will.
Just to let the board know, that small ditch out there was one of the ones that we bid early in the year. I think it was it was the smallest one we did. It's not very long. It's mostly just weed eating. There might be some really small trees because we mowed it last year. And I was trying to time it up with the county highway as far as to put that structure in, so we could have all the weed eated out of there, give them a nice bed to put that in. Because some of the grass does grow up in the bottom of that ditch when it gets real dry. So I guess with the board's approval, should we go ahead and send the contractor out there since we're getting in mid-August and have him go ahead and do that, even since we bid it out? Or do you want me to wait till highway gets in there? I mean, once we get here in another couple weeks, it's not gonna matter anyways, into August going into September. If we mow it then it's probably gonna be good until next spring. It's up to the board on that one.
Where the culvert crosses Stockport Road, is that a regulated drain?
Yes,
Okay. That's the Fimple?
yes.
Okay.
And they rerouted that in the part in the sixties and part in the nineties. There across Benton Road too, was in the nineties, but where they moved that to go around the property lines, I think was in the late sixties.
Could you work with Kyle to update the surveyor's map to show the current routing of that?
I can do that.
Commissioner Brand, is the second letter significantly different than the first letter?
It is not. There's some minor wording changes that basically, rather than asking them to sign it, we're just changing the tact and saying we're going to replace it. From a public safety perspective, we may have to send an ambulance or a fire truck or something across that structure, and we don't want to delay public safety services or damage the equipment. So trying to avoid, something that could potentially happen. But right now, you can't drive a large vehicle across that structure. It's about half blocked off with a barricade and a barrel.
I gotta admit, if I was one of those folks, I would struggle to sign the letter as well. I mean, the wording kind of makes it sound like that at our discretion, we can take that out, but put it back in at their expense.
Yeah, it does basically say that. So it is a private structure. I mean, it's basically a private driveway. And, it's not on our bridge inventory. They call it a bridge, but it's not. It's not on our bridge inventory. It's never been inspected. It's never been maintained. It's a private structure. But we do need to be able to send, public safety vehicles across it if we need to. It's in their driveway. I don't anticipate we're ever going to take it out. But, that was the lawyer's recommendation to cover the bases.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Glad to hear this. Thank you.
Tom, I think it's your discretion if you'd like to proceed with cutting the weeds before or
Okay,
after the
I might
holiday.
get with Tommy, once you get those letters sent out. If we have some sort of date,
Yeah.
but like I said, once we get here towards the end of August, we'll mow it anyways, and then hopefully maybe we can get it in before next spring.
Yeah. Ideally, we would do it this year. We're going to send registered letters, and the United States Postal Service is pretty pathetic right now getting those receipts back to you.
They are.
So it really depends on when we get the receipts back.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yep.
You keep me
Thank
in
you.
the loop. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, my name's Dennis Rogers. I'm from the Dunkirk area. And I wanted to discuss that open ditch right west of Dunkirk. Is that called the
The racer.
Racer
Yes, sir.
ditch? I think you know the situation there. Just wondered what the update might be on that with the contractor. Has anybody been out to look at it? Okay. So twice, okay.
We had originally provided 90 days to complete the work on this project. It was with a new contractor. After 90 days, the work was not complete. Last month, we granted a 30-day extension for him to complete the work. Mr. Surveyor, would you like to give your perspective on the clearing work?
Yeah, it's not done. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been cleared, and then the stuff that has been cleared hasn't been moved off, hasn't had anything dipped out of the ditch. Top of the, on the north side, I think you farm on the north side, am I right? So on the north side, from the top of the bank, we're supposed to go out 20 feet, which for most of that area would take us to where it gets mowed. On that, closer to 800. There might be some little wooded areas staying there by the deer blinds and all that stuff, and it looks like he only did about 6 feet, on the north side, if that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of trees, we're supposed to cut down any tree 10 inches or under. And there's probably 100 trees still left that need to be cut down.
Yeah.
And like I said, nothing's been chipped, hauled out, burnt. It's just been laid down wherever it was at. So like I said, it's not good out there.
Yeah,
And I had another contractor, that's done some work for us in the past. Asked him if he was to bid that back out, how much would it change? And he claimed that it might even be worse now because, you know, they pull the trees out whole and stack them and burn them all at once. Where this contractor's cut them up and kind of piled them up with fence and some other stuff, and it might even make it harder to get the job done than it is previous in the spring. So,
yeah, It's a
what I
mess.
would like to do is I'd like to rebid it out because there's a lot of water that runs through that, especially from,
Dunkirk,
Dunkirk.
Yeah.
And they cleared all the way through Dunkirk. So anytime we get a big rain and that backs up into the town of Dunkirk, they call my office, and that's the first mile out. So we really need to get that cleared out, dipped out, fixed. So what I would like to do is rebid it out and hopefully get that done by fall. Because there's a right of way on each side, a nice mowed grass way.
Yeah,
that you
there's
can walk
filter
on. You've been
strips.
out there. So there's no crops in there to prevent you from working.
right. And I don't know, what's your funds on that ditch? Is there money in that?
We do have funds to handle the clearing of that ditch. We have not approved any claims for this project yet. And,
Okay,
we will make a decision on how we will proceed, and we intend to complete the clearing work.
okay, the extension that you granted was kind of up today, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the young man that's doing it, I feel for him because he's under-equipped and everything, and I feel like he deserves a little funding. Although, because he's had a lot of expense and he's like, I don't know, he might be 18, 19 years old, just way over his head in what he done here. So I would like to add that. And, I think your bids that come in, he was like maybe half of what, some of the other bids were. The bids were like, what, 19,000, 39,000, and close to 60,000.
Correct.
Right. And you kind of get what you pay for on that deal. So, I mean, I could see, we do that kind of work ourselves as farmers, and I could see that job, if you're going all the way to 800, 60,000 would not be out of the question to do it and do it right and clean the bank and dip the ditch. So, I just wanted to make sure that you guys are gonna rebid it and, you know, to a capable contractor.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers.
Any other comments?
Tim Holsinger, 10,600 North Gaston. My farm also drains to the Rector Farm. It goes through Cody's field. When you guys got out a few years ago and did some work down that S curve there on
Right.
McCollum Road, I tried to talk to you guys then to go back that, there's a woods in the corner of my property that I sold off years ago for housing. Guy built a house back there, and that's not the problem. There's depressions all through that woods right on top of that tile.
Where are we talking about? I'm sorry. North of McCollum?
What's that?
Is it McCollum Road where that turns?
South of McCollum Road there,
Okay, so
on
south.
525 West, back in the southeast corner of my property. The current homeowner, every time he sees a hole, he goes back there and puts dirt in it. And we can't get the man to understand that's not an open ditch. He thinks it's an open creek or ditch. No, I told him it's a county tile underneath there.
Okay.
I don't know whether somebody with some authority can kind of go back there and
Absolutely.
get the man to understand what's going on.
Well,
and maybe scope that or do something. The water does flow. You said you went back and looked at the manhole or the breather. You see water flowing through, and water does flow through there,
not good.
but it don't flow to capacity.
Right.
Because I think it's full of tree, it's all clay tile, and I'm sure it's full of tree roots.
Okay.
I mean, it's just how
Yeah,
it is.
I knew it needed, like when I said, when we got it flowing a few years ago there, where you could look at that breather right there at the corner. There's a flat breather in that field.
Yeah.
And that, before it didn't move. We at least got it moving, but I know it needs more work, and that's something that we'll definitely take a look
There's a
at.
breather there right along the edge of the, on the north edge of that woods.
Right,
You guys had Townsend years ago do some work in that area. They
okay,
put a breather in for me right there.
okay,
That marks the spot.
okay,
And you can look in there and you can see it flowing,
okay,
but it doesn't flow to capacity. And it eventually does go through and tie in where Bill Long put the new tile in down on the property line before he dug that pond.
okay, I
Reroute
know what you're
that
talking
tile.
about now. Yep,
So that's where it goes. And also this spring, I turned in 2 properties, I think, in Harrison Township and one in Washington that had county tiles that broke down. I've never heard a response back. I was wondering if anybody ever came and took a look at them, if I can stop by the office and see what's going on there with that or what.
yeah, I can give you a call later. I'll look it up after the
Okay.
meeting. I don't remember us having any open complaints.
Okay, well,
Um,
I came into the office
Okay,
and talked to the lady there and got the maps out and marked them all out,
okay,
but I never heard anything back about
and
it.
it's under your name?
What's that?
It's under your name, obviously?
Yes,
Okay. So there's 3 spots, 3 areas,
what's that?
3 areas?
Yes.
Okay. I will check on that and give you a call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tom, the ditch that Cody initially was talking about, is that a candidate for reconstruction?
Yeah, the whole ditch probably, the whole tile probably needs reconstruction. Like I said, it pumps a lot of water. And the greenhouses is basically where it starts. For Mr. Cox, and it winds around through all that low land around the, trail. And then it ends up going through Mr. Light's field into the ditch. Well, last time we worked on it, we spent a lot of time around the trail area because, like I said, there's a lot of, that was growing up and hasn't, that's why that swamp area is up there by those greenhouses. And we got it flowing and draining, but like Mr. Holsinger said, it's not to capacity, at least it was flowing. But, you know, it would be a candidate for reconstruction, something we can look at, absolutely.
Part of it comes through the woods.
There's 3 or 4 woods it goes through. Like I said, it kind of, on both sides of that trail, now that's a woods, you know, back in the day it wasn't, but, both sides of that trail where it comes through, and then it goes south, and it goes through probably 4 different wooded areas, doesn't it, at least? I would say. Right. I know when we did fix it, the guy that lives on it that, does he own the ice cream shop, maybe? He got mad that I drained that swamp too much because the ducks weren't coming up to his house anymore. And I said, well, that's the worst, least of my worries right now.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, on to new business. We have the Wayne Johns petition for removal of obstruction.
Wayne Johns, 8309 East County Road, 350 North, Albany. And so, we were here at the last meeting, but we're petitioning for the removal of an obstruction. The obstruction is a 0 to 4 foot embankment of clay soil. There was excess soil from the construction of a pond on the neighboring property. The construction has caused the natural runoff to be completely blocked off on the west side of our property. And now, evaporation is the only way that it actually leaves the yard. Standing water has never been an issue before the obstruction was constructed, and natural runoff allowed water to flow across the neighboring properties to the ditch and then into the creek across the road. We are requesting that all the soil be removed along the east side of Brandy Hoff's property that was not present before the construction of the pond. This would allow the natural water runoff from being prevented and our property to not have standing water as before the construction of the obstruction.
Mr. Surveyor, do you have any comments on this?
I went out and looked, about a month ago, and the neighbor has put up a earthen barrier. I printed off this. This is the, surface drainage direction on this map, and I kind of highlighted the one that, and as you can see, this is Mr. Wayne's house, kind of right here. And as you can see, that the overland surface direction goes right over where that earthen barrier was constructed from the spoils from the pond. So it is blocking the natural flow of water. That's basically all I've got.
This question is for our attorney. Is this a civil matter or is this a drainage board issue?
It appears to me to be a civil matter if it's originating in the neighbor's yard and purely the result of neighbor's activities. I think it would appear to be a civil matter. It's Brandy Hoff here.
Brandy Hoff, 8209 East County Road, 350 North. I want to address the conjectures and intentional untrue statements made at the last meeting. The Johns do not have water issues from my wall because of the high bank. They have had surface water issue for greater than 2 years. The common enemy doctrine states that property owners can inhibit surface water from coming onto their property. I have texts and contact info that proves that they lied to this board about never having issues in the past. I even asked this board to subpoena said person because they would like to remain neutral. And I was told that this is, that I could have them subpoenaed, but it was not necessary at this time. It was conjecture about the dirt that was not left over. I already had an offer to take the dirt from the sheriff's office for the shooting range. So this was made up by them because they know nothing about this. Ninth commandment says, thou shalt not bear false witness against the neighbor. The Johns may have believed lying to you would mean that I would have to fix their long-term issue, putting the expense on me. No one likes to be bullied, lied to, or lied about, or stolen from. Ephesians 4:25 tells us to put off falsehood and speak truthfully, and I've done this for you today. I have followed all state rules regarding this pond. As Commissioner Henry said that I just dug a hole, that was untrue. I followed the DNR recommendation. I followed the Supreme Court rulings on the common enemy doctrine, and I set the pond 75 foot back from a county regulated drain, which it is much further than 75 foot. The pasture already takes a substantial amount of water because the county drain does not handle this water. However, I have never overflowed. I would not be the cause of a pasture. This was built with the thought that there could be surface water runoff. Indiana statute states that surface water, which is rainfall, is the responsibility of the property owner to divert it, unless I become a nuisance pond, which I have not been accused of by those neighbors, as they say they have standing water every time it rains, and especially when it's 4 inches or greater. I did the legwork to ensure I followed the law, and I did not just dig a hole. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
I was just stating that the dirt came from the pond. I don't know why you put it there or anything like that, but I assumed that that's where the dirt came from, the construction. of
That's
the pond.
because that was what the John said in the last meeting, which they knew nothing
Well, when you have a
about.
new pond and you have a pile of dirt, it's
It's
kind
not a
of
pile of dirt,
one
it's a
and
very
two.
high bank.
Well, okay.
Is there Indiana code that addresses this type of thing?
There is, and, yeah, natural surface water course means an area of surface on the ground over which water from falling rain or melting snow occasionally and temporarily flows in a definable directional channel. I mean, I think my stance still is that, given that this is more than 75 feet from a regulated drain, it appears to be a civil issue. I think, you know, my advice would be for these parties to hire their own private counsel and sort it out in that manner. I don't believe it's the responsibility of this board.
At the last meeting and in the letter that was sent, a state statute was mentioned and that said that they cannot do anything that keeps the natural runoff from coming off our property. It is a pile of dirt that did come from the pond that she created, and she did have it put there. It does block the water coming off our property. We never had standing water. Never did we have standing water. In the spring, it would be a little soggy, but it was never standing water. Anytime you ever looked out across, there was never water standing there. There is now. And I'm a little bit put off the response now that's completely different from the last board meeting we were at, where it appeared that it was the county had some jurisdiction over this, and now you're backing away from that.
Shannon Johns, 8309 East County Road, 350 North. Proof that the standing water has never been there prior to the obstruction and the embankment that was constructed in April is there's a tree that you can see in the picture that I gave you. That tree is very large, very old. If it had been living in standing water, it would not be living past a year or two. My stepdad is also in excavation, and I asked him how long it would take for that tree to die if nothing has been done. And he said it'll take about a year or two for this tree to die. He said you can tell that there's never been standing water on that property from that tree. That is the one proof that we've never had standing water on our land. We have been there 2 years come this September. And we have had 3 floods in that creek across the street that have been almost up to the roadway, which shows you the amount of rain that has fallen. And not once did we have standing water following that amount of rain in our yard that stayed there. And the pictures in the packet show you that after the very first rain is when the water started to pile up against the embankment that was put in higher. The pond was never graded to take water from our land. There is so much soil and leftover bank that is put there that it has changed all that natural runoff and completely stopped it. And there, because we are landlocked on our property, there's no way for us to be able to make a drain and take it down. As Mr. Brocious has, when he looked at it, he had stated that it was one of the worst situations that he's seen in a long time. The embankment also, which I sent Mr. Brocious and Mr. Henry a video of, it's a 5-second video, in one of the very heavy rains. the water comes onto our property, not in the direction of the natural land flow. So not only do we have the natural land flow that has all been blocked, but then we also have the improperly graded embankment that is pushing the water back onto our property. And as far as lying to this court, I have never intentionally lied or would never lie to this court about the situation. This is a travesty, and we just, again, like my husband said, you know, we thought that this court had found that piece of information that said that you would handle this and take care of this for us, and we were hoping for that.
Let me clarify on, so the Indiana Code essentially says that a person may file a request to have the obstruction moved from a neighboring property. This board has the discretion and the ability to handle that issue, but has no obligation to, would be my interpretation. So it'd be the pleasure of the board whether and to what extent they take action on this issue, but I don't believe that there's a legal obligation to cure it, if that makes sense.
Also, in my opinion, you know, there's kind of a middle ground. I don't know if you'd be able to, almost like a driveway pipe, stick a driveway pipe in to that lowest spot, let some of that water run through where it's naturally gone before, cross into the pond, and I don't know where the pond actually outlets to. You know, that would be kind of a compromise where they could keep the earthen mound there, but let the water flow almost like a culvert pipe, a driveway pipe, something like that. You wouldn't have to remove all the dirt, but it would still let the water flow. I don't know if that'd be something both parties would be interested in, but it'd be a nice compromise. Other than that, I think it'd be up to the board whether you want to ask them to remove the structure, you want them, you know, have them civilly do it. I think it's up to the board on that.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we table this issue.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to table this issue while we investigate it further. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead, Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other new business? All right, old business. We already talked some about the racer ditch debrushing. Any further discussion on that? Any other old business?
No.
Okay, we have approval of maintenance claims. We've had some discussion about the racer ditch clearing. We have a claim for $19,000 to Mr. Arnold for that work that has not been completed. How would the board like to
Did
proceed?
you turn in one?
Oh, he didn't.
No, I didn't turn it in, so.
Yeah, I didn't see it on there.
All right, I guess we don't have to discuss that at this meeting. Any other questions about the claims?
I've got, Mr. President, do you want me to get the specs ready to bid that job out again? What's the board's pleasure on making the racer ditch right?
I think we have to rebid it. Do we open the bids up to the world again, or do we open it up to the two that submitted the original bids?
I think the work has changed since we originally bid it. It is over a $10,000 project, and that's the threshold that we'd set. I think that we requote this job.
Especially with all the debris left.
Yep, so question, do you want me to get the specs ready for to look at for next month, or do you want me to go ahead and get the bids out this month to be open next month?
I think we need to get the bids out.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can do that. I mean, the specs haven't changed much. It's still clean up all the debris. It just happens there's more debris there than before. So, you know, the majority of the specs are the same, and we'll contact a couple more contractors that have done work in the past that do that kind of work and make sure that they know that it's been half done, some done, quarter done, and that there's a lot of debris out there that needs to be moved. So I can get that done and we'll have those ready to open on, next month.
Tom, this is off subject a little bit,
Yes.
but the actual agreement, I mean, I couldn't see anything in the agreement that addresses if the contractor doesn't get done on time
Uh-huh.
or, I mean, to me, that seems vague and could we
You-
define that a little bit more?
Yes, I can. I can add that to the specs. What, how many days would you like for that? Is there a certain time limit?
90 days is what we had imposed
Okay.
previously. I believe that's
100%.
appropriate.
I can add that in.
And when you do a job like this, how many inspections do they receive in those 90 days?
Typically we did a job like this last year and the guy got it done in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. 2 weeks, got it all cleared and then another week to burn and clean up. So I was out there maybe twice. Now, this job was a little bit different. I've been out there about once a week.
Or
Maybe,
Stan's been out there?
correct. And, so that's a little different. I haven't been able to catch him out there but like 3 times and that was very late in the day. But in a normal setting with a contractor that is experienced in working to get it done faster, you know, it doesn't need more than a couple. And then obviously the final one, after he's turned in his invoice, I'll go out there and look at it and make sure it's up to par. And typically the contractors are very good at communication. Hey, you know, it says 3 inches, all stumps are cut to 3 inches, but there's an old farm fence running here. Can we leave a couple of these up? Because we don't want to ruin our chainsaw, something like that. They'll call if they can't get it done, something like that. But, you know, for the most part, 2 or 3 stop out just to make sure they're working and things are going fine.
Thank you. I do appreciate on the claims that you have about 9 claims for the brushing and spraying,
Uh-huh.
keeping
Yeah.
keeping us looking halfway decent
Thank you.
around here. I know grass can get out of hand, but I appreciate your effort on these.
I had a minor comment on, there was a JJC excavating purchase order. It was listed as the 51 Mississinawa in Delaware Township. And I believe that goes with work order 7434, and that was Salem Township and on a different watershed.
Okay. And I apologize, I didn't get these entered into the computer. It's been a busy week. And that's usually when I check those, is when I put them in the surveyor's dashboard where you can go in and look at all the stuff, and I wasn't able to get them in this week. Partly because of the solar yesterday and some other stuff I had to get done, so I'll get them in this week, and that's usually when I double check the ditch and the watershed. But I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, Mr. Hamilton.
I would entertain a motion to approve maintenance claims.
So move.
Second?
Mr. Whitehead.
Wait, we didn't have a second yet.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead. Mr. Hamilton.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Christie.
Yes.
Mr. Waffle.
Yes.
That's it. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to correct the July 9th minutes. I did say the 6701 East Hickory Lane would be 600,000, not 60,000. So we need to add a 0 to that.
We had tabled approving those minutes until the next meeting, but we'll make that change and, look at those minutes again.
I got one more question. Should I contact Mr. Arnold and tell him to stop working?
I believe so.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
At our last meeting, I think there was an issue about Woodlawn Park. If I
Yeah,
got that
that's-
wrong, where, an area flooded. Did we,
We really don't have a whole lot of structure near there, but I did meet with Cooley to televise what's there. And once he gets me the information, I'm gonna meet with the commissioners, the highway, try to find out a solution. It's really not a drainage board issue because we really don't have a regulated drain close to there. It's more of just a neighborhood issue, but I have worked with Cooley and we checked that out, so it's in the works.
Thank you.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead? Mr. Hamilton?
Yes.
Ms. Reagan?
Yes.
Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Thank you.
That one.